So this is the earliest idling problem that I had before the error code popped up and I started having erratic idling RPM. So what would happen is when I first started my car, I got a real high RPM up to 2,000 for about 10-15 seconds, and then it would come back down and normalize. So let's see if it'll happen again. So let's see. So this occurred before the error actually popped up. So it's not as high, the idling is not as high, but you can see it's higher than it should be. And then it should settle back down. And then, well, there you go. See, there's the actual erratic idling for the P0507. But before it starts doing all that, one of the first signs you'll probably see is that high idle when you first start the car, which is what I experienced with no error code. Then after about, I want to say a week and a half of me driving it, because I couldn't really pin down the source, then I started getting this crazy idling. So if you start getting that high idle when you start it, suspect the crankcase ventilation valve. So what I have right now is error code P0507, which is idle RPMs too high. And so what's happening now is that when I come to a stop and I'm at idle, my engine's at idle, the RPMs rev really erratically. So it'll start, normally it'll be like at 1,000 or below. And what's happening now is it'll go up to 1,500, come back down, go up to 2,000, come back down, and it's really erratic. And so that started happening first, then the error code popped up. And so let me show you what that looks like. So now every time I come to a stop, this is what's happening. So you can see it's already a little high. There it goes. Should not be that high. So right now the idle RPM is too high. Keep going down. See? So that happens every time I come to a stop. So if you look up that error code, what you'll see is that there's a few things that it could be. It could be the quote-unquote PCV valve, positive crankcase ventilation valve, which on this model it's not called that. It's actually called the crankcase ventilation valve. And you should know that, because if you have the litter on the car and you try to look up PCV, you're not going to find it. There is no acronym for it. It's just called the crankcase ventilation valve. So that's what you want to look for. It could also be an intake leak, and there's a few other things that it could be. But the first thing you want to check for is the most obvious thing, and that is going to be the crankcase ventilation valve. And that I will show you. There's actually three ways to know if that valve has gone bad on this car, and I will show you that first. And then another simple thing, and the reason why that's a good one to start at is because it doesn't require any other tools or any kind of spray or anything to test that. You can all you need is some gloves. You don't even need that, but I would recommend wearing some gloves and checking a few things under the hood, and you'll know if the crankcase ventilation valve is bad. And the other thing you can do is check for intake leaks, and you can use I think you can use brake cleaner for that. Don't quote me on that. Or you can use I think you use carburetor cleaner, and you can spray that around the intake gaskets, and if it's sucking in air from there, it'll suck in that component, and then the engine will rev up high, and then you know that you have an intake leak. That'll also cause the idling issue. But the first thing I'll do is check the crankcase ventilation valve. Alright, so the first thing is you're going to hear a hissing noise. This is your crankcase ventilation valve. This is your intake. You're going to hear a hissing sound coming out of this hole right here. Like this. So that means that the air is going through here. Look, it's getting sucked in through here. That's the first sign. The second sign is you pull this off. plug it up with your finger right here, the idling's gone. See, so I plug this up, now it's idling perfect. That's the second sign. That's your crankcase ventilation valve. And the third sign is there's a lot of suction when you try to take this off. There's a lot of suction. It's really hard to get this off. You hear that? That's not normal. So those are all the signs that your crankcase ventilation valve is bad. And this is where the crankcase ventilation valve is. It's inside of here. You got to replace the valve cover. So if you hear this, you can pull that off, plug it up, and the idling is better. And you have suction there. This is bad right here. So finally, to get to this guy, you got to take this off, take off the coils, take off the intake, disconnect all this stuff over here, and then you have to pull the coils out and then take this off. And if you're curious, if you're gonna do this job, then I recommend you looking at my other video that I made not too long ago about doing this exact job. I just took this all apart and changed all the gaskets. I actually just changed the valve cover gasket and the intake gaskets. And had I known that this part is prone to failure, if I would have done my research properly, I would have just simply replaced that while I was doing it. So if you're going to change the gasket, if you're going to go down there, you have a leak down here on your valve cover, you know what? Just change this out. Save yourself the hassle of a future job. So that's it, man. I'm going to change it and we'll see how it runs after. We'll go from there. Just change the crankcase ventilation valve and I'm at a complete stop. And the idling is gone. So it looks like that was a fix. It was definitely the crankcase ventilation valve. And what sucks is I had just taken that gasket. I replaced that gasket and the intake gaskets not too long ago, a couple months ago. So it's okay. It was actually a pretty fast and quick job. So let's see, here I am at a complete stop. Whoa. And I'm idling perfectly. My engine light went away. And that's it. Whoa. I don't know why my brakes squeak like that. It's raining right now, so the brakes squeak and they don't sound too good. So that was it. That was the fix. So if you're having those problems, you're having rough idle, and you don't have any error codes, the first thing you should do is suspect the crankcase ventilation valve. And also, if you're changing out that gasket for whatever reason, you might as well just change out that valve cover as well. Preventative maintenance, $70 on Amazon, or you could spend $180 from O'Reilly's or from any other source, but I would just say Amazon. And if you have any doubt what the part number is, just call a dealer, give me your VIN number, and they'll give you the exact part number. So let me see, I'm gonna come to another stop. Make sure everything's good. Go get my mail. There it is. That was it. I hope this video helped. I hope you're able to fix your car. If so, let me know, man. Send me a comment. Subscribe to my channel. And hope you're able to fix your car.